It's game day. We've got a lot to talk about today on the DNVR Broncos pregame show. Can Bo Nix bounce back? What do we expect from Daniel Jones? How do the Broncos get the win? And we're going to dive in here in just a couple seconds. This is the DNVR Broncos pregame show presented by Coors Light. Big day. I'm Henry Chisholm, joined by Ryan Koenigsberg, Super Bowl 50 champion, Bennie Fowler. How's it going, guys?
I thought you were doing the identifier after my name, so I was like, oh,
no,
you're right. I did win Super Bowl 50.
Based on the hat, we know it's Super Bowl 32.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a good hat.
Thank you. Dusting off, some old classics.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You have a lot of retro stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just love the older stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't like things that everyone else has.
Yeah, I feel you. Besides the Bo
I like the Bo Nix jersey. Yeah,
the Bo Nix jersey is we're still kind of on the early side of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the time everyone gets theirs, I'll be moved on to a Quinn Miners jersey.
Okay, Quinn Miners is a good one. Nik Bonitto. There need to be more Bonitto jerseys. Ufunga, after that first game, really feel like he's one that for the next 5 years could be a great jersey.
For sure.
Also, this was a gift. So
yes,
slightly different.
Yeah.
Shout out Sports Fan who hosts us for the tailgate every single week.
Yes, shout out to Sports Fan. As you guys can tell, we're actually here in the Toyota Lounge today because the Broncos are on the road. We're not over at the tailgate. But we still got a fun show planned, and we might as well just jump in from the top.
Let's do it.
What are the big storylines this week?
Can the offense get back on track?
It's probably the big one.
Or on track for the first time this year, I guess. Look, the Colts went out there and put out a really impressive performance last week.
Yep.
We'll talk about the defensive side of the ball here in a second, but this is not a slouch team that the Broncos are going up against. It's not like you're just getting a layup here to get the offense kick-started and rolling. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot of confidence in Sean Payton and Bo Nix to kind of have things right. You do have the advantage of them being out without Charvarius Ward that I think should help things. Without Leatu Latu, I say that fast enough?
Yeah, no, that was great.
So there's an opportunity here. It's not going to be easy, but I think everyone wants to be leaving this game feeling like, okay, the offense has a rhythm now.
Mm-hmm. Last week we talked about, a win is a win, or at least that's something that I said, a win is a win. Mm-hmm. This week I do not feel like that.
Oh.
The offense has to play well.
Okay.
Because of the 3-game stretch that the Broncos are getting ready to go on. Division opponent next week with the Chargers, then Bengals, then Eagles. Mm-hmm. A win is not a win this week. Offense has to look well, or has to look good. Bo has to play well. Bo has to throw the ball well. We cannot turn the ball over. We have to be efficient in this game. Like Ryan said, they do have some starters out, some of their best defenders out. We have to be able to move the ball. We have to be able to take advantage of the second and third string corners. We have to be able to do that. Court has to have a big game, which I believe he will. Marvin Mims, and we have to see Troy Franklin step up and make some plays this week. So a win, the offense has to look good. A win is not a win this week for me.
When you say that, is it because you don't believe in the idea that, like, okay, they'll be able to get right next week? Like, it's kind of like you got to get right now before you head into this tough 3-game stretch, because there's a chance that you might not have a rhythm until after it if you don't.
100%. I think it's going to be hard to get a rhythm against the Chargers, a division opponent, an opponent that will run the ball, who can keep your offense off the field. Then you have to play the Bengals, which could be a high-scoring game. Obviously, Joe Burrow went out today.
Big news.
They're still explosive. I think they still got 28 points on the board right now.
Yep.
So you're going to have to be able to score in that game. And then you have Philly. You're going to have to be able to score in that game. So you can't just go into those games and try to establish a rhythm. You have to start to establish a rhythm right now this week.
I'll be the guy then this week who says a win is a win.
Oh.
And the reason is, and by the way, I would love for them to get the offensive rhythm. But the reason is because of that next 3 games. if you aren't able to get this one, then a ton of pressure goes on to you in that 3-game stretch to go at least 2-1. Now, you'd like to do that no matter what.
Yep.
But if you get one today, then you could go 1-2 in that 3-game stretch and come out of it on the other side 3-2.
Yep.
And feel just fine about where you are. You could even go 0-3 in that 3-game stretch and still be 2-3, with all the season in front of you at that point, or 12 games of the season in front of you. So to me, it's like you have to find a way to come out of this 2-0 because it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of the record you could come out on the other side of that 3-game stretch against 3 good teams moving forward in the season.
I got a question for you guys just based off of the way the Titans are playing the Rams. Do you guys feel any better about – obviously the offense struggled last week, and we didn't like that. We didn't enjoy watching that. But Matthew Stafford, obviously an incredible veteran, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams over there, they're not blowing the Tennessee Titans out either. I think the Titans might be winning that game right now. Do you feel any better about that type of opponent? So
as somebody who makes a lot of bets, week 2 in the NFL season is always the week where you bet against everything that you think you know. So like week 1, you come in and it's like, oh, the Steelers and Jets, they might be good. Look at all these points they're scoring. Oh, look, like the Rams put up big numbers. The Dolphins really struggle. Whatever. You kind of go against all that. And I think first month of the season in general, it feels pretty random. Sean Payton always talks about the race to get better. That, from week 1 to week 4, that's when you see a bunch of growth, and then you kind of not are what you are the rest of the way, but at that point, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, and you're just going out there and building. I think that you watch the Titans and say they certainly aren't a dumpster fire. They aren't the worst team in the NFL, but it's hard for me to watch them and say, like, oh, they're actually a playoff threat, And I think that any of those teams that you look at and say they should lose more games than they win, it'd be nice to go out there and have a convincing win, especially at home. And the Broncos just didn't quite manage that. So I wouldn't say I feel too much better.
I feel a little bit better. A little bit better seeing the Titans go out and be competitive, but I think it's going to be a pretty, linear climb for them with Cam Ward just kind of learning on the job what it's like to be in the NFL. So I expected them to look a little bit better today than they should have last week. But that defense is legit. They're giving the Rams, serious issues. So I think that maybe that was the part that we underestimated the most about the Titans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
totally agree with you guys.
I'd throw the Tyler Warren situation out there as one of the big storylines today.
Yeah.
I think that how the Broncos manage covering Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end, first-round pick for the Colts, it's not only big for today, I think it's big for the rest of the season to see, like, is this
Brock Bowers matchup?
Exactly. You have to deal with guys like that going forward. Broncos for the past decade, it feels like, have struggled defending tight ends. Is it Hufanga who's down there? Is it Brandon Jones? Obviously no Dre Greenlaw today. How does that mix up what you do with the linebackers? Is this where we finally see the Broncos play more dime like we kind of thought they would last week, get Jahdae Barron on the field a little bit more? I'm curious to see how the Broncos go about handling a guy who had 7 catches for 70 yards in his first game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see that. I don't think Dre Greenlaw actually being in the lineup would actually do anything just because he's not really that cover guy. I agree. On first and second down, short yardage situations with Jonathan Taylor, would love to see Greenlaw in there. But when it comes to Tyler Warren being out there, I think it's more of Hufanga and Jahdae Barron or Jaquan trying to match up with this guy. Or both. I think I'd like to see Jahdae Barron just because he's such a physical guy. Riley Moss, I think we're going to mix up coverages. Do we even see Pat Surtain? If they line him up as a receiver, do we see Pat Surtain kind of match up with him? The Colts do have a lot of weapons, but yeah, Tyler Warren, I think that their offense is completely going to be focused around him, at least the passing game, I should say. And that's going to be Daniel Jones' safety blanket.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys should kind of be licking their chops about the opportunity to cover Tyler Warren, because Danny Jones is going to be wanting to get the ball to him and get the ball to him quickly, especially against this pass rush. If I'm Alex Singleton or Justin Strnad, I am waiting for the first opportunity where there's like a 3rd and 4 or 5, knowing that he's probably just going to go sit right over the ball, try to be right in between us, and try to jump a pass like that. Because Daniel Jones, I mean, they're going to be really focused on quick game with him today. So you got to try and take that away, especially from the tight end. and allow these pass rushers to get home.
How many interceptions for Daniel Jones today?
I'll get 1 pick, 1 fumble.
Oh, okay.
Lost.
I'll take 2. I'll go with it. Because I think even last week when he played maybe the best game of his career, he still had some throws that could have been picked.
Yeah.
I got him with a pick 6 today.
Ooh, to who?
Riley Moss.
Yeah.
I like it.
That might be
like
Riley
it.
Moss's arrival. Like, everyone in Denver's been like trying to tell everyone Riley Moss is good for
Yep.
a year and a half now, and no one's listening. He might need a pick 6 to have people wake up to him.
I agree. Any other big storylines today?
One thing I'll just say is it's kind of on the other side, but like I said, the Colts offense looked really good last week. Now it's starting to look like the Dolphins might have the worst defense in the NFL.
Right.
So it's like, now they have to go from potentially the worst defense in the NFL to potentially the best defense in the NFL. Like, where do we end up landing on the Colts offense at the end of this? I have a feeling it's going to be a massive fall from grace for them.
I would say one of my other storylines for this game in particular would be Sean's play calling.
Okay.
And will it be balanced? Will he help Bo out in terms of the running game? We saw the explosiveness of RJ Harvey. We saw J.K. Dobbins get in the end zone last week. Will he establish the run? Can we get some consecutive runs? Can we get 2 runs in a row? Can we get 3 runs in a row? Can we see that? Can we actually see his play calling mirroring the play action? You know, hey, we're going to run, and then a little bit of play action fake. So I'd love to see. That's my biggest storyline is how does Sean call this game, and how does he help Bo and not just do a whole bunch of drop back passing?
It is interesting because what was it last week? The Broncos ran the ball 4 times in the first half. That's not a lot of runs.
No.
And so I'm curious, a lot of them could have been runs. You know, there's a read pre-snap. If they show us this, we run. If not, Bo flips over to the pass play. I understand why you do that. It also means that the defense is deciding whether you run or pass. And I'm not sure I want to put that decision in their hands because we saw what the Titans thought they wanted the Broncos offense to do. So I think that's interesting. I think we're going to get into that more in a second, like you said. Yeah. Before we do that, we should hit a couple notes. Big ones today are the inactives. For the Colts, 5 guys inactive. Tyler Goodson, the running back. Leatu Latu, who we spoke about, last year's first-round pick. Big edge rusher. Had a pick last week when they dropped him in coverage. Some interesting things that the Colts do on defense. You lose a talent like that, it could change the day. Riley Leonard, the quarterback, third stringer, doesn't matter. Will Mallory, Luke Tenuta, and then Charvarius Ward, who we have seen here a couple times in Denver. Their top cornerback will not be on the field this week. That changes things for the Broncos offense.
Yeah, and I actually don't know what they're going to do. But the first thought whenever anyone's top corner is out is, okay, here goes wide receiver 1 about to pop off. I think what that's going to force the Colts to do is give more attention to Courtland to try and not allow him to get good matchups against a backup or, you know, their second best corner.
Yep.
And I think it could really open up big opportunities for Troy Franklin.
I think so too.
Going against their third best corner instead of their second best, as they would have if Charvarius is out there. What do you think about that, Benny?
You know, RK, you bring up a good point. I think one of the things that I think about if the top corner is out, they play less man coverage is how I would think about it. So do you start playing more zone? I still think Court will have a big day. I'm curious to see how they'll mix up coverage. Lou Amaruno, you know, defensive coordinator from Cincinnati, likes to play a whole bunch of different coverages. Bo did really well against Cincinnati last year, and the reason why we're bringing that up is because the defensive coordinator now for Indianapolis was with Cincinnati. So we saw Marvin go over the top of this defense last year. We saw Bo make a ton of plays. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I think about, when the number 1 corner goes out, do you start playing more zone because you know those other guys can't play that man-to-man, and you're automatically thinking, okay, Sean Payton's going to try to attack our corners. So let's play cover 2 shell. Let's keep everything in front of us so we can't get beat over the top. Yeah,
and so without Charvarius Ward, they'll have Xavier Howard as their top guy on the boundary. 32 years old.
Player.
Good player, probably not what he was 5 years ago when he was an All-Pro, though.
Yeah, no chance.
You know, I
Yeah,
think
but he's still a good
All-Pro
player.
level. I
Yeah.
can't say for sure he got it.
Yeah.
In the slot, they still have Kenny Moore. who's a weapon, who can cover, had a strip sack last week. That's the thing. Lou Anarumo, all those blitzes off the edge. You have a safety with a sack. You have Kenny Moore with a strip sack. But then on the outside, it'll be Mekhi Blackman probably. Former Colorado Buffalo. Buffs fans will remember, when he and Christian Gonzalez were the Buffs' 2 cornerbacks, Mekhi Blackman was the better player. Again, Christian Gonzalez now freshman now one of the 3 or 4 best corners in the NFL over with the Patriots. Good fun local story at least, but you'd imagine Mekhi is going to be picked on a bit today.
Yeah, and again, regardless of, well, I guess not regardless, but like if he's matched up on Troy Franklin, that's a massive height advantage for Troy.
Yep. Interesting how that plays out. We also have the Broncos inactives. Once again, no Julian McLaughlin. Going with Tyler Bidet instead.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Quite.
It is. Let's
Especially
stop there.
after Bidet was not good last week.
Right.
What do you think it is there?
It's pass protection. They trust him in pass protection. I wondered if they could shift to JK doing a lot of that. For some reason, they decided against it. And JK did have 16 carries last week, so he got plenty of run. They aren't necessarily looking for ways to get him the ball more, especially given he's a veteran with the history he has. It makes some sense to rotate him out of that spot, but they don't trust RJ Harvey yet in pass protection, so he can't be that third down back.
Gotcha.
We kind of have to see more Tyler Bidet, which is interesting.
Very interesting. But maybe, potentially they trust him.
I like him. He had a bad game.
I'm interested to see what RJ can give us.
Me too. Another 50-yard run would go a long way.
How many carries did RJ have last week?
6 for 70 yards or something.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get 10 plus. I'd like to see, JK stay with his 15 and then RJ get 10 plus.
And I've been really impressed with RJ ever since preseason game 1 when we criticized him heavily for bouncing everything. Yeah. He hasn't unnecessarily bounced anything, I don't think.
I agree. No Nate Adkins, still dealing with the ankle injury. Tough for the run game. No Q Robinson, no Frank Crum, no Savion Jones. When JFM was hurt, kind of thought Savion Jones could get his first couple snaps, but JFM fine, minor knee injury, he's playing today. Then no Dre Greenlaw, was to be expected, but maybe back as soon as next week because he was a participant in practice on a limited basis on Friday.
You guys concerned at all about Greenlaw not playing this week?
I'm not. I thought Justin Strnad played a great game.
Yeah.
I would love to have Dre, but we saw what the defense was without him last week. I think they'll be just fine.
I'll be very concerned about what we're going to get from Dre Greenlaw this year until he's on the field.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about that, but I'm not concerned about the Broncos defense being able to withstand him not being out there.
Yeah, I'm concerned about him not playing. I'd like to see him out here just going back to the 3-game stretch that's getting ready to come. So I'd like to see him get some snaps, but like you guys said, the depth with this defense is incredible. So you can afford to miss him, and that's one of the reasons why we have the number 1 defense in the league.
Absolutely. Let's get into our big conversation today. The Broncos want to get off to a hot start this week. Last week, they obviously weren't able to do that. I'm curious, Benny, what goes into a hot start? Like, how do you make that happen? What are the keys to not kind of stumbling your way into the game like you did last week?
I would say it'll be that first 10 to 15 plays, and this is typical for every NFL team. You have your first 10 to 15 plays. These plays are scripted. You go over these plays. They went over these plays yesterday morning, yesterday night, and this morning, so you don't want any mistakes. What I would like to see and what I think could go really well here is for Sean to establish this run game here. So I think one of the things to be paying attention to in these first 10, 15 plays is the different personnels that Sean uses, and then also him actually forcing himself to run the ball. Give RJ and JK some different types of runs, help Bo out. Don't give the RPO option to Bo. Let him hand the ball off. Let's get a rhythm there. So also, I think one of the things that is very key to going into the first 10 to 15 plays and getting off to a hot start is getting Bo some early completions that don't have to be down the field. A quick screen or a play action pass where he hits the flat. So slant, a hitch. Those are the things that you kind of look for to establish a rhythm, not only for the quarterback, the offensive line, and then also the receivers as well.
I've got 2 things that go into it.
Okay.
One of them is Bo lowering his heart rate. Last week, I think his heart was racing out there at the beginning of that game. And it started off really electric. And then I just think he got a little out over his skis, and he just needs to calm that heart rate down a little bit and keep his feet, set and just things of that nature, which he did a really good job of at the end of last year. I think he just needed to settle down a little bit.
Real quick on that. So it was interesting. They called a bunch of play action passes for him. That was kind of how they started his day as a passer. I feel like that's a way to get those feet going, and he's making plays on the run. Having him just drop back or, quick game or something like that might be a way to make it nice and simple, get him into the game instead of getting him on the run and letting him go be a magician.
The
and
play
literally
action,
raising his heart rate.
Yeah.
I'm all right with the play action, but just not. I mean, his first two were to the left. Why not to the right?
Because they'd never see it coming.
Showcasing it. And he threw dots on both of them.
He did.
And then the second one for me is avoiding penalties. Sean is going to have it schemed up for this first, opening script.
Yeah.
They were driving down there looking like they were just going to breeze into the end zone. And then I think it was a delay of game. That was the first penalty that really derailed the drive. Just cannot happen. So I think if you're able to just have Bo go out there a little more calm, I think being on the road actually will help him be a little more calm early in the game. And then avoid penalties. I think this team can get off to a hot start.
Yeah, I like it. Here's an interesting thing that Sean Payton did this week, which might be related to this, might be unrelated. He is keeping his team on Mountain Time. So they obviously go over to the Central Time Zone, right? Are they Eastern
Time Zone?
That's ridiculous that they're
one
Eastern
of the most
time.
ridiculous time zone decisions in history.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably number one between that and like the whole daylight savings time thing. But that goes down to, so all their schedules are written in Mountain Time, even when they're going to meetings there. Whoever is going into the hotel rooms first handles those sorts of things. Maybe it's workers at the hotel. Every clock in every one of their rooms is still on Mountain Time. They change it back to Mountain Time. Everything they do is based on Mountain Time.
What about their phones?
So I wondered the same thing. It just sounds like cause for confusion, but it's an interesting strategy.
It's annoying for a player.
Yeah.
You got to keep looking at your phone. Your phone automatically
Minus
adjusts.
Subtract two. Yeah.
Minus two.
Yeah. So
See, that
did
would
he say why?
He said,
It's just some coach BS.
I do have it. I mean, he said that he's done it before and made some mistakes, like when they're playing an early game on the East Coast. It meant that his players were going to bed at 9:30 Mountain Time was their bedtime, but it also meant that breakfast started at 4:30 Mountain Time, and he felt like it threw them off to be saying, be down at breakfast at 4:30. And so he said for the early morning games, he no longer likes it, but he does like it for these games. They're the 2 o'clock games. Yeah, I don't think he really gave much of an explanation. He just said that's what they're doing.
Can I say something with so much love?
Yes.
Sean Payton is a psychopath.
Yeah. That's why we love him.
Exactly. And I love that about him. But this is the epitome of overthinking it.
Maybe if it was a 1 o'clock game, I get it because, it's like an early game, but this is a 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time game, and this is the same time they played last week. It doesn't make any sense to. I don't know why it's a big deal.
But
makes it more like the time they played last week because, technically they're playing at 4 now, 4:05, when last week they played at 2:05.
No, I'm saying, but they played at 2:05 last week, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe he just
So
wants them
on
to be
the
in that.
schedule?
I don't know. It's very silly.
It is. It sounds more like a college football coach than like an NFL coach to me.
That's something that we did in college for
Really?
sure. Yeah, but I never did it in the
I've
league.
never heard of this.
No. And again, he said he doesn't like it for some of the games. And the quote was, then breakfast began at 4 a.m., and that wasn't real smart, was what he said. Very strange decision, though. But I wonder if that factors in the hot start. You feel more comfortable, you do all that. I don't know. Maybe not.
Just run the ball, Sean. Just
run the ball.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
That's probably, if you want to just run the ball, you're not going to like my prediction for today.
Oh,
I think that Bo Nix goes off today.
really?
And I think that there will be a good running game to get it going, but I think that he settles in, he calms down a little bit, and some of the stuff that, he was forcing last week. He makes a smart play, checks it down, keeps it rolling. But
Over 300?
I was just about to say, I think Bo throws for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns today.
Whoa, I like that.
That's a big day. That'd be a really big day.
That is a
I'm
day.
curious if that is possible. With the running game, though, how do you go about that, Benny? Do they need to put extra linemen in there? Is it with the fullback? Are you running out of shotgun? Like, what's the formula
I'd like
here?
to see Bo under center. I'd like to see Bo
Okay.
under center. I want some traditional runs. I mean, look at how JK scored last week.
Right.
Look at the RJ Harvey play last week. I think we talked about that during the watch along, but I'd like to just see traditional runs. I think you got one of the best offensive lines in football. Let's punch them in the mouth. They're missing one of their best players.
Yep.
Let's establish a run, put the fullback in there, 2 tight end sets, whatever it may be. Go 3 tight end sets. But let's go establish the run. Let's get positive runs, and I think that's what we did last week. I think that should carry over. I think 200 yards on the ground.
Whoa.
That's mine right there.
Just combine ours.
I feel like this is like
Let's
a
go 500 yards off.
good pizza bet here. 200 yards rushing, Benny wins. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, Ryan wins.
I feel like we have to even it out, have to remove the touchdown.
Okay. I wonder, I guess the Ravens certainly ran for 200 last week. They might be the only team who did it.
Yeah.
I'd imagine there's a quarterback who had 300
we ran for
touchdowns.
what,
too.
150 last week?
At least 160.
160?
Yeah.
Without even really trying.
2 bills.
Let's go.
2 bills today,
All right,
baby.
200 rushing yards. I owe you pizza. 300 passing yards. You owe me a pizza.
Deal.
I like it.
We can
In
turn
honor-
that into like a bottle of tequila, you know.
That'd also
Post
be better.
negotiations.
Yeah.
We've got some more bets to talk about before we get out of here. Before we go through them, though, want to remind you guys, we're going to be live for this entire game. So we're going to be hanging out, watching the game, actually over on those couches instead of right here. You guys can watch with us. So if you're hanging out at home, if you want, if you're even at the game and just want us in your ears so you can hear what we think, we'll just be hanging out on YouTube. We will have a post-game show after as well. So this is just the beginning. It's a 30-minute pregame show, but we've got at least 4 more hours to come. Yaya, let's hit these bets.
The combination of old guy energy that you want to listen to someone talk about the game while you're at the game,
I love
with
that.
young guy energy of listening to a YouTube show. Great combo. I would be impressed.
When I was watching the Montana game yesterday and trying to sync up the TV with the radio, Lexi just about lost it.
Yeah,
He
that's-
said we don't do that here.
That's insane behavior.
But it's the way I like, it's old school, but it's the way it's supposed to be.
It's very old school.
Bets. Our pregame picks from our friends over at Bet365. That's where we do all of our betting. A lot of money to be made. First one, easy one. Broncos cover the 1.5 point spread, -110. You guys on the same page here?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Easy. Nik Bonitto sack, still plus money, +125. Daniel Jones moves well. He doesn't have the greatest senses, though. And I think that it's pretty easy to go, Nick's probably coming to his blind side more often than not. I think there's a sack there.
It's one of those he steps up, try to step up in the pocket, take off, and Nick gets him.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
And then I picked a prop for Troy Franklin, 4 catches, +190 for him to get 4 catches. We saw him start hot yesterday, and I think this is the week where he can kind of maintain it a little bit.
Yeah, 4 catches.
That goes really well with my pick of the game.
Ooh.
Troy Franklin, 2 touchdowns, 60-1.
When you tell me 60-1, I have a tough time saying no to anything.
Yeah.
This one I think I sign up for.
I mean, imagine he just gets one on the opening drive, and then it's like,
Right.
we've got 55 minutes to get another one.
Totally. I'm all in. I think I might be joining you. We've got, a minute left before we get out of here? You guys have any final thoughts, any predictions you want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
Super chat.
Oh, we do have a super chat. Well, hit the super chat. What do you guys think about that? From our friend over Portal Kiz, I think is how we say it. Hey guys, I'm Alex from Germany. Big Broncos and DNVR fan. My buddy and I are coming to the game in London. We would love to go to the tailgate. How can we do that? Head over to our website. I think we have everything we know is up on the events page over there. I believe we have the package available just for the events for those of you who are in Germany, aren't traveling, are traveling but aren't traveling across an ocean. And if not, we've still got individual tickets still on the way, maybe with a couple more details to be ironed out.
Yep.
Last thought, final thoughts?
Broncos win big.
Broncos win big?
Yep, 28-17 is how I have the Broncos. It's going to be a tough game, though. We got to establish a run early on, get off to a hot start. But, yeah, Broncos win.
All right. That's going to do it for the pregame show. But like I said, we've got to watch along. We're going to be hanging out for the next 3 hours. Join us in 10 minutes when we get that going, and we'll see you over there. Thanks for watching, and shout out to Coors Light for presenting this show.
We all silly like the mayor.